Everyone's heard the saying, "An apple a day keeps the doctor away." But nobody ever said that apple couldn't be covered in golden caramel, right? In modern factories, caramel apples are the perfect fusion of fresh fruit and sweet indulgence. Each crisp apple is dipped into a smooth, buttery caramel, then rolled in crunchy peanuts or colorful candy bits, all neatly secured on a wooden stick. The mix of the apple's slight tartness and the caramel's rich sweetness creates a perfectly balanced, irresistible flavor. Loved all year round and especially popular during the Halloween season, caramel apples aren't just a snack, they're an American fall icon. But have you ever wondered how they're actually made? Let's take a closer look at the fascinating process behind this classic sweet treat. But before this treat became a national favorite, it all began humbly at a small shop called Hunter's Candy Company in Moscow, Idaho, back in 1936. Instead of coating apples in the traditional hard candy shell, a candy maker there tried something bold, dipping fresh apples into soft, buttery caramel. The result was chewy, crunchy, and sweet all at once, and it became an instant hit. Before long, the recipe spread across the country, especially in Chicago, where the iconic Affy Tapple brand was born and turned caramel apples into a true culinary symbol of the city. Chicagoans still like to say, "Fall doesn't really begin until you take the first bite of an Affy Tapple." Every batch begins with fresh apples. To make the perfect caramel apple, the fruit must meet 3 key criteria. It has to be sweet, slightly tart, and crisp. Among all varieties, Granny Smith and Jonathan apples are the most popular choices for their balanced flavor and firm, satisfying bite. At Affy Tapple, nearly 350,000 Jonathan apples, known for their gentle sweetness and perfect crunch, arrive every day, shipped directly from Michigan orchards. Once the apples reach the factory, inspection begins immediately. Each one is carefully checked for size and firmness. The ideal size for caramel apples is between 5 and 8 ounces. Larger apples require more caramel coating, which significantly increases costs since caramel is the most expensive ingredient in the entire process. That's why apples in the 5 to 8 ounce range are considered optimal for production. Tiny specks or freckles on the skin, the apple's natural markings, are perfectly fine. But if an apple shows any bruising or soft spots, it's removed and sent to a separate line to be pressed into juice. Nothing goes to waste here. Every apple is put to good use. Once the apples pass quality inspection, they're sent to the washing and cleaning area. Here, the apples go through an automated washing system made up of multiple circulating water tanks and high-speed rotating brushes. This process removes all traces of dirt, debris, and, most importantly, any pesticide residue left over from the orchard. Another thing that must be eliminated is the apple's natural wax coating. While this wax helps protect the fruit while it's still on the tree, in caramel apple production, it becomes the #1 enemy. Even a thin layer can prevent the caramel from sticking evenly, causing it to peel off once cooled. For that reason, the washing process is repeated several times. The apples are soaked, brushed, and rinsed with clean water until their surfaces are completely smooth and shiny. In the final stage, they're transferred into a flowing water bath mixed with a small amount of vinegar to enhance natural cleaning. The apples float gently through the cool water, slowly gliding along the circulating stream. The water temperature is kept consistently cold, because even a slight rise in warmth could soften the apple's delicate skin and reduce its natural crispness. After washing, the apples move along a brush conveyor, where soft rotating bristles wipe away any remaining moisture. Immediately afterward, a system of powerful air blowers completely dries the apples, ensuring not a single drop of water remains before they head to the next stage of production. The apples are lifted off the conveyor, carefully centered, and then a wooden stick is inserted straight through the core. This step is surprisingly tricky. Only trained apple stickers can do it precisely. Because apples are natural products, their shapes are never perfectly uniform. So to create the ideal caramel apple, the stick must pass exactly through the center of the core. Workers handle each apple individually, using a specialized press to insert the stick cleanly through the middle. A sharp-tipped wooden stick is pushed all the way through the core, giving the apple its signature handle for dipping. Once the sticks are in place, the apples continue down the conveyor and gently drop onto a soft padded surface. From there, they're lifted onto an ascending belt that carries them toward the next stage, the caramel dipping station. Now comes the most anticipated part: making the caramel. At the Affy Tapple factory, the caramel recipe has been a closely guarded secret for decades. It's the key to that signature golden, buttery, and perfectly chewy coating that defines the brand. Some people imagine workers unwrapping tiny caramel cubes and tossing them into a pot to melt. But that couldn't be further from the truth. Affy Tapple cooks its own special batches of caramel from scratch, using a recipe that's been protected for over 50 years. In the back of the factory, the original copper kettles from 1948 are still boiling away every single day. Each batch produces about 80 pounds of caramel. While the exact formula is a trade secret, the base ingredients include corn syrup, milk, and sugar, all slowly cooked together over steady heat. When the mixture reaches the perfect consistency, white chocolate is added at a ratio of 1 to 5. 1 pound of white chocolate for every 5 pounds of caramel, giving it that rich, creamy flavor and glossy finish. The entire process runs in 2-minute batches, with workers closely monitoring the temperature between 155 and 160 degrees Fahrenheit. If the caramel starts bubbling too vigorously, the heat is immediately reduced. Just a few extra degrees could scorch the batch and ruin its signature flavor. With production reaching over 350,000 apples per day, the factory needs to cook nearly 20 tons of caramel every 24 hours. Alongside producing over 20 tons of caramel every day, the factory also prepares another essential ingredient: crunchy roasted peanuts. Around 9 million peanuts are used daily to coat the apples, adding a finishing layer that's fragrant, crispy, and nutty. The peanuts arrive at the factory in massive industrial bulk bags, each weighing up to a short ton. After passing quality inspection, the bags are emptied into feed hoppers that lead directly into a 78-foot-long industrial roaster, capable of processing up to 9,000 pounds of peanuts per hour using a modern gas-fired heating system. The roasting process lasts about 20 minutes, during which roughly 53% of the peanuts' natural oils are released and absorbed into their cell walls, giving them a dry surface and that signature golden brown color. If the roasting time goes too long, the peanuts darken and develop a bitter taste. At peak temperature, the thin outer skin becomes crisp and begins to loosen. To remove it, the peanuts pass through a skin removal machine, where soft rotating belts and rubber rollers gently strip off the skins without breaking the kernels. At this stage, each peanut is evenly roasted, golden, and ready for cooling. A rapid cooling system immediately halts the roasting process, stabilizes color, and locks in the oils, ensuring every peanut stays aromatic and perfectly crunchy. Next comes optical sorting, where peanuts slide down a chute in single file, allowing sensors to detect and remove any burnt or defective pieces. Finally, a small amount of fine salt is mixed with the roasted peanuts before they're crushed into small bits. This light salt layer doesn't just enhance the flavor, it balances the rich sweetness of the caramel, creating the perfectly harmonious taste that defines every caramel apple. When all the ingredients are ready, fresh apples, wooden sticks, golden caramel, and crunchy peanuts, the caramel dipping process officially begins. The apples, now firmly mounted on sticks, are placed onto a rotating conveyor system inspired by the Ferris wheel, a beloved symbol of Chicago. Slowly, the carousel-like conveyor carries each apple toward the dipping station. Here, tanks of hot caramel are maintained at a steady 150 degrees Fahrenheit, with the rich, glossy mixture continuously stirred over an open flame to preserve its smooth texture and ideal viscosity. As each apple is lowered into the molten caramel, the coating envelops it completely, from stem to base, in just a few seconds. Immediately afterward, the apple is gently rotated to remove any excess caramel, a small but crucial step that ensures a perfectly smooth and shiny finish every time. Next, the apples tilt to one side and roll across a rotating table covered in crushed peanuts, allowing the bits to stick evenly over the caramel surface. Workers inspect each apple by hand, and if any spots are missing coverage, they carefully sprinkle or press on more peanuts to ensure a flawless finish. Finally, the apples move into the cooling area for about 20 minutes. Here, fast cooling conveyors help the caramel and peanuts set just enough, firm and glossy, yet not sticky to the touch, before the apples are packaged in their familiar clear plastic containers. Beyond the classic caramel and peanut version, factories have created many innovative toppings to bring new flavors and textures to caramel apples. After being coated in smooth, buttery caramel, the apples move to the decorating station. Some are drizzled with melted dark or white chocolate, adding a silky finish and richer flavor. Others are sprinkled with cookie crumbs, toasted coconut, or colorful candy sprinkles, giving them extra crunch and a vibrant, festive look. For the premium editions, factories use toppings like butterscotch bits, roasted pecans, or flakes of sea salt, creating a sophisticated balance of sweet and savory. There are also seasonal variations, from Halloween-themed sprinkle apples to red, white, and blue versions for the 4th of July, and pastel-colored ones for Easter, each celebrating the flavor and spirit of the season. After dipping, the apples are cooled and then carefully placed into custom-shaped trays that keep each apple secure, preventing any movement or contact during packaging. These trays are called bubble packs, protective containers with soft molded compartments that hold each apple as if it were safely bubble-wrapped. Every pack is sealed with the signature Affy Tapple label, an unmistakable mark Chicagoans recognize at first glance. The entire process runs with remarkable precision. The line can handle up to 9 apples per second. Once finished, the apples are packaged in sets of 3, the familiar box that nearly every Chicago family has brought home during the festive season. Finally, the products move to the logistics area, where the packing and shipping teams load them onto trucks. From there, the crates are carefully wrapped and shipped to stores across 25 states, with Walmart standing as Affy Tapple's largest retail partner. Their connection to Halloween traces back to old autumn harvest traditions, which happened around the same time as Halloween. In the 1940s, before mass-produced candy took over, people often made homemade sweets to give to children for trick or treat. Caramel apples, beautiful, easy to hold, and perfectly in season, quickly became the ideal choice. The glossy golden caramel over a bright red apple carried a sense of mystery, evoking stories of magic and temptation, making it fit naturally with the enchanting spirit of Halloween. And that's how caramel apples became an essential part of the holiday. A sweet treat that captures both the flavor and nostalgia of an old-fashioned Halloween. And that's the entire process behind making the perfect caramel apples in the factory. Of course, you can also make your own at home. All it takes are a few basic ingredients, a bit of patience, and a touch of creativity with your favorite toppings. So, how about you? Have you ever tried making caramel apples yourself? And what's your go-to topping besides caramel or peanuts? Share your thoughts in the comments below, especially since Halloween is just a few days away. Thanks for watching, and see you next time on Food Tech Today, where we continue exploring the fascinating processes behind your favorite everyday foods.